Hello, Internet. If you're like me, you don't deal with big changes very well. And as you can see, I'm in a whole new apartment. I lived in my last apartment for 3.5 years. I got real comfortable there. And now I'm here. I don't have my stuff set up. It's something that's stressing me out, but it's also making me like incapacitated at the same time. You can see my dog over there. That's pretty cool, actually. But I just wanted to talk about change because I'm dealing with a lot of change right now. And change is something that always stresses me out. It's always something that I have to be aware of when change is happening, that I just don't deal with stress very well. And that's okay, you know. Nobody really deals with stress well, but I think some people are able to kind of not like compartmentalize, but understand the reality of the situation and not worry about it past the extent of things that they can control. That's like the normal way to think about it. But I just really get in my head so much, and I really need my comfort. I really like to get in a routine. I like to know what to expect. Like, I don't like to experiment with all that many things. I kind of like what I like. I'm open to try new things, but I'm definitely like kind of locked into what I like to do lifestyle wise, like on a daily basis. It's good to know what you like, but it's also good to step out of your comfort zone, because the only way that you can really grow, this is what I've learned, the only way you can grow is if you're uncomfortable. So this new place, for example, I'm uncomfortable here. I don't feel comfortable here yet, but once I'm all set up, maybe I will. Since this place is, you know, the next step in my journey as a person in the world, it's going to be a huge, you know, place of growth for me. I'm also really excited to have windows. Like, I have some natural light here. That window's closed, but I got another window over there. My last setup was in a room that had no windows. Anytime I was on my computer, anytime I was making stuff, I was just in this little dungeon. And at first I liked that. You know, I like to kind of hole up and just do my own thing, but it is nice to see some trees, to see the sun. It's a blessing for real. Like, I can't even believe it. I've only been in this apartment for 4 days, so it's still very new. Maybe the next video I'll have everything set up. I actually tried to record myself setting up my computer, which I did just before I'm recording this, but it was kind of a boring video. It was like a time lapse, but it just looked stupid. So I was like, let me just come on here and talk to the internet the way I normally do, or sometimes do. So one change that I'm actually very excited about is my creative space now. This is going to be the room where I have like my instruments and, you know, my computer setups in here. It's just going to be like my creative room. I'm excited to start just making new stuff, especially music. I just am feeling the vibes of this new space already, and I just really want to sit down and make some stuff. So I'm excited about that. That's a change that I'm excited about, because I started to really have a hard time feeling inspired just being in the same place in the dark. Essentially, it's not good for your mental health, you know? It's really, really not. As far as having a hard time dealing with change, I really just have to be mindful of what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling to the best of my ability. Understand that the stress is going to affect me and try to work within it instead of trying to fight it. I've learned, this is a very recent thing that I've been forced to learn. I have to accept it, because you can't fight how you feel, and you can't control the thoughts that you think. So I've learned I have to just let things flow and pinpoint when I have to let go and when I have that sounded like a rhyme. I gotta let things flow, pinpoint when I gotta let go. Ooh, yeah. All right. But seriously, there's most things we have no control over. So instead of trying to figure out how you can control a situation, it's probably best to figure out how you can just work within it and accept how it is. And that's not for like your personal life, things that you're working on, things that you are a part of. I'm talking about just life itself, you know, life, death, and everything in between. There's so much stuff that we just have no say in what happens. And it sounds so basic, but that's a really hard pill to swallow when you really have to put it in context in certain situations, you know, such as a basic example is just me moving, like I was saying, moving to this new place. Luckily, I had help, but there was a moment in time where we had to get everything from our old place to this new place. You know, it's in the same city, so it wasn't like super far away. And we didn't have a ton of stuff, but it was still something that had to get done. And if we didn't have people helping us, it would have been nearly impossible. But it just seems like an impossible thing to accomplish, you know? It's impossible to not only do what you're doing in the moment. Does that make sense? Like, people say live in the moment, and what they really mean is be aware of the moment and allow yourself to enjoy it, because it's impossible not to live in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you literally can't live in the future. You can't live in the past. You can reflect on the past and think about the future and feel ways about that, but you are always just living in the moment. So moving, what I really tried to focus on is, it's almost like a Sisyphus type thing, like the myth of Sisyphus, pushing the boulder up the hill and you got to learn to love it type shit. So I take it one box at a time, one thing at a time. I'm putting this thing in this box. I'm putting this box over here. You know, we're bringing this bed frame up the stairs. Just take it one step at a time and eventually it's done. That was a very literal example, but I've been really trying to apply that mentality to all aspects of my life. I can only do what I can do. If I do as much as I'm capable of doing, I'll feel fulfilled. If I do too much, even if it's possible for me to do more, if I do too much, I might not enjoy that. I might feel more exhausted than I would prefer. I'm really just trying to focus on doing what I can and nothing more, really. And I'm realizing that there's a lot that I can do. I'm a lot more capable of doing things than I think I am. And I think most people are a lot more capable of accomplishing things that they want to accomplish than they think that they are. If big changes are coming in your life, go with the flow. Do what you can and just accept what you can't. And if you're making a big change in your life, even if it's not something that you are perceiving as good, because change can be bad objectively or perceptively, big change can happen that's devastating. But any change is an opportunity for growth. And whether or not you realize it in the moment, that's happening anyway. So just try to lean into the growth. That's it for this video. I don't know why I did that with my mouth. See you next time.